All right, so let's start right here. The day before you retire, what emotions are you feeling right now?
Well, right now I feel gratitude, relief, joy. Uh, I was preparing like I was going to continue to play, fully knowing that there was a chance that that wouldn't happen. But I kind of knew in the back of my mind ever since the summer that there was a chance, like a 50% chance I probably wasn't going to play. So I was staying ready and skating in case the perfect situation popped up, like coming back here or possibly going back to Philly. Um, but I kind of knew in the back of my head, even creeping into July and August and early September, that it was a good chance it was going to happen. But looking back on the whole thing, I felt really good when I was going to get ready to announce. So that was, from my perspective, no sadness or anything like that. It was just great memories and gratefulness, and it was just time, kind of. I would have continued to play, like I said, if it was perfect, but I feel so good about it.
But you're healthy.
Yeah, which I couldn't say for a lot of my career. Tons of tough injuries, played through a lot. Thought I was going to have to retire on 2 separate occasions with my knee and then my concussion and then my knee again. So, this story looks a lot different. We're probably not sitting here right now if, 300-400 games ago, I am not playing. So from that standpoint, just a reflection period of being so grateful of what I've been able to do and how long I've been able to do it in Colorado.
So let's go back 25 years, which is funny to say to you. 25 years feels like a lifetime ago,
Yeah.
but you're 12. Did your parents know? Did you know that you were special at that point? At what point did you know, I'm pretty good at this?
Well, I was special because I had to have a lot of one-on-one tutor time. Special hockey, I was always a really good player. I didn't ever think I was going to play pro. I just, as a kid, at least when I grew up, you weren't, shouting off every ledge, I'm going to play in the NHL. I just loved to play and was good at it. And every year there was a different goal and different step I wanted to hit. And when I was, 6, it was I wanted to make the upper mite team. Then I wanted to make the Squirt A team. Then I wanted to make the Pee Wee A team. Then I wanted to make Bantam A. Then I wanted to make varsity. Then I wanted to play college. So there was all that ascension throughout that whole childhood that I just was kind of checking off goals. So probably when I got to be about 14, I had 5, 6, 7 full ride college offers. I remember walking out to the mailbox and I had letters from BU, BC, Minnesota, Wisconsin. And then that was pretty cool because I grew up watching college hockey because the North Stars left in '93. So a lot of my childhood was college. So that was like, I want to play for the Gophers. I want to play for Minnesota. This is my dream. So at that age, I knew I was going to for sure play college, but at that point, you don't know what's going to happen beyond that. You just go out and try and play the best you can and do the best you can and be the best player you can.
Were you always a big kid? I mean, you're a big dude. Were you a monster?
I was kind of a string bean. I was probably 5'8" or 5'9" in 7th or 8th grade. And then my freshman year of high school, I was 6'2", $185. Mm-hmm. So, since then I haven't gone up very high. I've gone out a little bit, but I was always tall. My parents are tall. My sister's tall. So, then it was just becoming a man and getting man strength and man weight and using my size to my advantage. But I was always a bigger kid.
The number 1 overall pick in 2006. Take me back to that day.
Yeah, I knew it was probably a pretty good chance. I remember I met with Ray Shiro 2 days before the draft, and they were picking number 2, Pittsburgh. And they said, you're our guy. We really want to take you. They tried to trade up with St. Louis. And then St. Louis actually tried to trade back to get 1-2 and never came to fruition. But I knew I was going to go, 1, 2, or 3. I didn't really care where I went. I knew I was a top prospect, and it was exciting and, nerve-wracking all at the same time. But I had worked hard up to that point and knew I'd put myself in a good spot to be a first rounder. I mean, probably going into my draft year, I was top 20, and then I just had a really high ascension to the top of the rankings there my draft year. So wherever I went, I was just happy to be drafted, and what a blessing to be able to have that feather in your cap to be a first rounder and a first overall pick.
What's it like to stand there with the jersey, looking out, knowing that?
Yeah, you're a kid, and for me, I probably was naive thinking that, I have this draft status, I'm going to automatically get to, whatever. But, the work really just starts there, and the pressure starts too. So for me, I was probably not mentally mature enough to handle something like that at that age.
It's a lot. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure. And, you are just a kid. And, there was some up and down years after that, but it was just kind of what you signed up for. And, you just, like I talked about earlier, you just start checking off those boxes of things you want to accomplish in your career. And some things happen quicker, some things happen a little bit slower, but I was pretty cool opportunity that I had.
Number 1 overall picks in NHL history with 1,000 games and a Stanley Cup. Listen to this list: Mike Modano, Alexander Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby, Patrick Kane, Vinny Lecavalier, Guy Lafleur, Steven Stamkos, Bobby Smith, Dennis Potvin, Rob Ramage, Marc-Andre Fleury, Erik Johnson. It's a pretty good list.
Sounds like everyone's a Hall of Famer but me. So maybe it's not that good for me, but no, that's cool. I saw that the other day, and I'm fortunate to be on a good team with a lot of good players, and a lot of good players don't win. So I'm cognizant of that and grateful that I was able to win. Grateful that I was able to play the amount of games I did. I probably am lucky to have hit the 1,000 game mark with all the injuries I had with knee, shoulder, head, whatever. But I just really had to grind the last couple of years to carve out a few more years. Knew I had it in me and could still play. The injuries definitely slowed me down, but looking back on it, I've said this to a bunch of people, Kyle, that you tap me on the shoulder and hand me a piece of paper when I'm 5 years old and it says, you are going to have this career. Do you want it, or do you want to gamble and maybe get something better? I would say, give it to me every time. So I think back as a little kid, sign up every single time. Who wouldn't? Very grateful.
Speaking of thinking back, do you remember your first NHL goal?
I do.
Pretty good one.
It was on my old teammate, Jonathan Bernier. It was on the power play in LA. Kind of a foreshadowing to my injury woes. 2 nights earlier, I had my first NHL game in Phoenix. Blocked a shot from Shane Doan. Foot hurt really bad. X-rays clean. Can't walk for 2 days in LA. Played 2 nights later in LA. Scored my first NHL goal. Great pass from Doug Waite. Threw the seam to me, one-timer, deflected off Rob Blake's shin pad past Bernier. And get back to St. Louis.
Game winner.
Game winner. Found out I broke my foot. Scored my first NHL game on a broken foot. Probably sign of some things to come. But great moment. We had an awesome power play. Korea, Kachuk, Doug Waite, Marty Ruchinski. We just had so many cool old veterans I got to play with. So to have your first NHL goal be the game winner in your second game was awesome. Pretty cool. My mom and dad were all there. Everyone was there. So that was fun.
What do you remember about St. Louis? At certain games, seasons, teammates. I know it's a while back, but you've got a memory like nobody else.
Yeah, I have great memories. I love my time there. Really, really underrated place to live and play. I had a blast there. Great people, great small town feel, city. Had made a lot of friends. A lot of people looked out for me, and I thought I was going to play there my whole career. But I remember we grinded through some tough years, and right when we were getting good, I got traded to Colorado and kind of had to do the same thing. So I don't have anything bad to say about St. Louis at all. I love my time there.
Let's just say you came home. You joined this team. Talk to me about the trade and the guys that were there, the Jesus, the Duchesnes, characters like Cody McLeod. I
Yeah.
mean, what was it like being traded to where eventually you would become one of the most popular players to ever wear the jersey?
Yeah, I just remember walking off the plane. We played in Buffalo that night with St. Louis, walking off the plane, and our team services guy grabbed me and Jay McClement and was like, "Hey, the GM wants to see you." And I'm like, "Gosh, what did I do? Like,
Could be a myriad of things.
Yeah, what did I do?" And Jay McClement's like, "Dude, we got traded." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." So, sure enough, get traded. We're on a 5 a.m. flight, meet the Avs in San Jose, connect in Phoenix, go to San Jose. Aaron DeGraff couldn't find us a direct flight.
Shot.
Yeah, still give her a crap about that. But no, I just remember getting to the Valencia Hotel in San Jose, pulling up. Joe Sacco and Erik Lacroix were there meeting us right on the curb. And just whirlwind of emotions. I was only 22, traded 4 years into my career, so pretty big shock. Think you're going to be in one place your whole career, end up getting traded. But remember walking in and, Hayduk was there. Adam Foote was hurt at the time, but he was on the team. I knew Paul Stastny really well. I knew a lot of guys really, really well, so that was helpful with the transition. But yeah, I just remember kind of being upset to be traded to Colorado because the team was really, really bad at that time. I think the team had just lost 11 in a row, so they were looking to shake things up completely. So I was disappointed because we were only 1 or 2 points out with St. Louis from the playoffs, and then kind of go down and you're kind of in the mud again. But, like anything, you just attack it with a positive attitude and try and do the best you can to help the team win. That's what I tried to do.
They threw you into a sort of a leadership big brother role right out of the gate because in comes Gabe Landeskog, and you sort of took him under your wing as your roommate.
Yeah, I mean, you could say he might have taken me under his wing too, because I don't think I was super ready for a leadership role at that time. I was still trying to figure out my own game, and I was 22 and trying to navigate myself still in the league and prove myself. But no, it was kind of a perfect match when he came in. I was his roommate, ended up being great friends, and he was very, very mature, as you know. Honestly, his personality, demeanor feels like it hasn't changed really to this day since he was an 18-year-old kid. I'm sure he thinks that he's grown, and he has in other ways, but just the way he carries himself was kind of always the same. So he, we kind of started the first chapter there and wrote a lot more after that.
The days of staying in rooms with other guys, those are over, right? Or just not as much, but was there any shenanigans? Who was the leader in that room? Who's answering the door? Who gets the bed closest to the door? Who's in charge of the channel changer?
I don't really remember that aspect, but I always remember I would piss him off because I would always have a ton of water bottles on my nightstand, and I would always wake him up. He's like, "You chug water so freaking loud. Can you shut up and just drink your water quietly, please?" Because I would just be like, and Gabe would get so mad. You could ask him about it. He'd just be like, "Dude, just drink your water quiet. I'm trying to sleep." So, yeah, we were only roommates for, I think, a year and a half, and then the CBA took effect where, guys off entry level got their own room.
Yeah.
So it was a fun year.
Your first goal with the Colorado Avalanche. You remember that one?
I remember it well, yeah, in St. Louis. A couple days after I got traded, right? Go-ahead goal in the third. Ended up being, I think they tied it and we got an empty netter or something like, no, we got an insurance goal. And then we won by 1. So yeah, that was an amazing feeling. I remember I haven't been that pumped up about a goal in a long time. That was, I remember just really, that one felt good.
You've seen and been around so many great players and different characters, and not everyone's going to have 100 points, but even the guys that play roles. Who are some of your favorite players with the Avs specifically? Through the 2011s to maybe 2017.
Yeah, I played with a lot of guys. You think about all the guys that come and go over the years, and it's like it's hundreds, right? So I think for me, as my career went on, I kind of developed into more of a depth, hard-nosed defenseman. Wasn't really flashy, so I definitely appreciated guys who played like that too, who carved out a career for themselves. One of my favorites was Blake Como. Just an awesome guy, fun teammate. We had a lot of fun together. Towards the end of his career, J.S. Shiger was awesome. Great backup, great leader, great personality. Cody McLeod was a character. Just some of the he would say. We still say it, to this day, just as some of his crazy one-liners.
You dainty little bird.
Yeah, and just the nicknames he would have for guys. But yeah, I mean, so many guys I would really have to go through and think, and I could be here for a while, but those are the guys that jump to mind.
So the late, great Peter McNab gave you the nickname the Condor. First of all, how much do you know about condors?
I know a lot more now.
Do you like the name?
I honestly don't care. Teammates say it to me as a joke, like to make fun of me.
Fans love it.
Fans stop me on the street and actually expect me to respond to it. And I do, but it's not something that people call me around the rink, unless they're making fun of me. But I think it's great. I think fans should have that connection and fun with their players. And, someone gave me a couple of Condor 6 shirts I have around the house. Thought about wearing it for this interview. A little tight on me now, so couldn't wear it. But I think it's great. I think the fans have fun with it. And Peter McNab, I remember when he first did it during a game and you asked me about it in the walk-off interview, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but that's great.
It's a big bird. So
it's a big bird, yeah.
Fly, Condor, fly, as Connor would say.
Yes.
What do you remember most about Pete? Because I know nobody could talk hockey like Peter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I know he'd like to sit down with you specifically,
Yep.
whether it was on the plane or in the locker room. What do you remember most about him?
We always would be in the back of the plane, and as you know, the media sits towards the front. And so we see everything that happens in front of us. We would always laugh at Pete because he had this big briefcase, and we didn't ever know what was in it, but we would always see him stuffing peanut butter and jelly sandwiches into this briefcase on the plane, or turkey sandwiches or granola bars. And you'd have this thing, and he would just be sifting through the sandwiches and putting them into his briefcase, and we just thought it was the funniest thing ever that he would do that. And then on off days, I'm going to get to actually good stories too, but these are the funny ones you remember about him. On off days, a couple times, I remember we were in the lobby of a hotel, and he was wearing an Avalanche jersey on the day off. We're like, why is Peter McNab wearing an Avs jersey around the hotel? But that was him. He loved the Avs, right? And just loved talking hockey. I remember so many times sitting in the locker room and having a great chat with him. And, I remember a few times he came up to me. We were in Edmonton. This is probably 2013. And he's like, you know what? Congratulations. I'm like, what? He's like, you have figured it out. I can see it. You figured out this game. And I was playing really well. Just that shot of confidence from someone that played a long time and knows the game. That's not your coach or not your agent or not your whatever. He had a good eye for the game. So to hear that from him meant a lot.
It was heavy when he passed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys are thinking about the games or whatever, but that was a tough day when Pete, I think we were flying back
from Finland, right?
Yep.
I remember I got a text from Charlotte Graham in the air, I think, or right as we were descending and got service. Peter McNab passed away. Tough because he battled, right? And it was great for him to be able to be somewhat healthy enough to enjoy the cup year, right? So that was awesome.
So many good memories and good times and good seasons. There was a bad one.
There was a few, right?
Well, 2016 was 48 points.
16, 17, yeah.
How tough was that? Not just from a media standpoint. I remember going into the locker room and just thinking, who do I want to talk to? Because this is tough. Sometimes there's just not a right answer. how tough was it to maintain sort of a brotherhood and relationships and some sort of positive mental attitude as you went through struggles like that season?
That was tough because we had a team that was probably better than that, and just everything went wrong. I want to say by Thanksgiving or December 1st, we were 500. And then I remember I broke my leg versus Dallas on a slap shot. That I was out 2.5 months, maybe 3. Varlamov had hip surgery. And then just everyone had a bad year. Like, it was just a down year. And I missed that stretch November to January or February or whatever it was. And I remember the game where we were down like 8-0 after the first period in Montreal or something like that. And I remember watching at home. I was like, wow, this is as bad as it gets. And I remember coming back and being excited to be back, but you just knew the season was so far gone. And I just remember thinking, gosh, at the deadline, everyone's going to be gone. We're going to have to do this all over again, because we had already done it, when we got an 8 and 13, 14 or 12, 13, whichever one it was. And I just remember the deadline approaching, thinking everyone's going to be gone, and no one got traded. Partially probably because there weren't a lot of people that were wanted because we were so bad. And 2, I think people were probably trying to buy low and take advantage of Joe in a bad season. I give Joe and Chris a lot of credit because they didn't rush and move anybody. They kept all of the core guys intact that wanted to be there. And it would have been tough for me to stay patient like those guys did. And they hung on to Bedsy. They could have easily let him go, a young coach, after his first year. But everything went wrong, and they realized that, and all our top guys were out with the injuries for an extended period of time. It was a bad season, but gosh, it really made you appreciate when we won.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
You mentioned, the injuries and slap shots and block shots. Nobody's blocked more shots than you in franchise history.
Yeah.
Is that part of your plan, to become that guy? Because it's no fun.
Not really, Kiefer. I mean, over the years, my career, I started as a offensive guy, power play, and then slowly I kind of had to transition my game. As the game evolved, I had to evolve. And I needed to be that guy. And so I just said to myself, I'm going to do it. And is it fun to do that? No, but when you do it and you help the team win, that's fun. So I thought that outweighed the, negatives. So, I mean, what are you going to do? I had a lot of injuries, but that was my game. I mean, people that don't hit or block shots are just going to get hurt less. It's all luck, basically. Where is it going to hit you? How is it going to hit you? That's what you sign up for. So would I have liked to play 1,300 games like I should have if I was healthy? Yes, but that's what I needed to do to help us win. So
it's a respect thing, though, EJ, because if you score a goal, the crowd goes bananas. But if somebody blocks a big-time shot, you watch that bench, they know.
Yep.
They know that was a big moment.
Yeah. So that's just what I needed to do to help the team win. So that's what needed to be done. So I did it.
Fast forward to 2020 in the bubble. How weird was that?
Yeah, so I thought we could have contended that year. And I remember the NBA shut down that morning, I think. And I remember Matt Sokolowski, our trainer, he goes, just watch, we're going to be done too. Because NBA does it, everyone kind of follows. And we played New York that night. I think we won. And then everything shut down. I mean, we were at home. I remember we got messages, stay home, you go anywhere, you can be suspended, they'll pay, blah, blah, blah. So we were all stuck at home and just have no clue what's going to happen. And we had a really good team. We were in a good spot at that time. And then, you're working out, you're staying ready in case the season starts. starts back up in June. We go to the bubble in July. I mean, it feels like zombie apocalypse almost.
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah.
were we doing in there? The whole bubble thing. But it was just an odd time. And I remember going into the bubble thinking, what are we doing here? But, and at the same time, I thought, what a great escape this is for people that are
Yeah.
stuck at home and get to watch something.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it was great.
All right, so in 2021, you lose in the second round to the Vegas Golden Knights. You said that you thought you had maybe the team that could win it.
Yep.
Do you remember that sort of gut-wrenching feeling of losing that series and being like, we're so close?
Well, that's another year where I got hurt 4 games into the shortened not bubble season, but the shortened COVID year. And I missed the whole year, and I was maybe going to come back. So, I mean, I wasn't in the day-to-day grind that those guys were, but I think we were up 2-0 in the series, I want to say. And kind of, on our leg in a way. Can I say that on altitude?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I didn't swear like Tyson.
Beep.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the second round the year before, right? So was that 2 second-round exits in a row? Maybe it was 3. And it was like, gosh, are we going to get over the hump? And my career was in doubt. I didn't know if I was going to play again with concussion. So that was a strange year, March 2020 to July 21 for me. So
You got to go through some pain in order to recognize greatness, right? So in 2022, you guys win the division. You're the top seed in the West. Before that March, tell me about that team. Were you like, we can win?
That year was a fairy tale because it felt all year like we had it. I don't know what it was, but we still kind of had some COVID restrictions. There was a shutdown, but it was mostly a normal year. And I felt like the team came together really early. And that was so important because if you want to play well on the ice, you have to really be tight off the ice. And that team is really close. A lot of us had been together for a while. And we really came together early that year. And that year felt special the whole way.
First round, Nashville Predators, clean sweep.
Yep.
4-0. You remember it?
I do.
What was so dominating about that?
Yeah, people ask me about that, Kyle, the sweeps of that year. But gosh, when you think back, it's a lot closer than you think. What was it, 2 overtime games?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a couple blowouts in there, but I mean, a bounce here or there, and you never know what can happen. We swept them, but we had to win some games in overtime. Kemp's got hurt. There's so many ebbs and flows to a series and roller coasters where you're not doubting yourself, but you're like, gosh, this could go the other way. If it was a sweep, and we played really, really well, and we were the better team. But it's not as easy as the series sounded.
Well, it didn't get any easier.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis
Yep.
came with a lot of drama, came with a lot of great hockey, physical hockey, water bottles. There was all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But what do you remember most about that one against St. Louis?
I just remember, I wanted to beat them because that was my old team. B, we had to get out of the second round to kind of get that, monkey off our back. And I felt like we were the better team the majority of that series too. But it just comes down to like little moments where it can go either way. And we blew that lead in Game 5 and had to make that flight to St. Louis. And we did not want to do that. And I remember there was a weird feeling.
Panic?
Not panic, but maybe not doubt, but just like, I can't believe this is happening. But Bedsy had an unbelievable meeting in St. Louis before Game 6. Right when we landed, we went to the meal room. And that meeting made us all, at least it made me feel like, okay, we're fine. So he pressed the right buttons there. And I remember we dominated that whole game in game 6 and just eked it out without having to go to overtime. And then, after we won that, we kind of were like, okay.
Helmer, that was a pretty big goal, I think.
Yep. That's got to be the greatest goal. Maybe not the greatest goal in franchise history, but every Abs fan knows the meaning of the second round at that time in the organization's history and that era. And just to win that game like that goal that still gives me chills every time I see him put it in the back of the net.
So you're in the conference final. Probably going to be a low-scoring series. Oh, wait, it's not.
Yeah.
Game 1, 8-6. Where you're like, oh.
Yeah, I remember I had a few friends in town, and one had never been to a hockey game in his life. He's from Cincinnati, basketball coach at UCLA. And that's his first hockey game. And he's like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, you are not going to see a hockey game like this very often, 8-6. And that was another one, overtime games and tight games, and it was 4-0, but game 4 in Edmonton, we had to come back from a deficit. I mean, it's never easy. It's never easy, no matter what the score is or what the series is. There's always difficulties and ebbs and flows of series and games and injuries and how many guys we had hurt and goalies in and out. So we hung on.
You're a young kid. I asked you about this. Let's say you're 8, 5.
Yeah.
Thinking, I got a chance to play for the Stanley Cup. You're there. You're there now. What was the feeling heading into a Stanley Cup final?
I think we were excited because we knew we had the team to win, but of course you're nervous too. I mean, I get nervous for preseason games. You just get nervous. It's butterflies. It's not you're nervous to play. You just have that, anxiousness about playing. But I remember being a kid in Minnesota, and my dad would always we'd play knee hockey in the basement, and we had a cardboard Stanley Cup cut out and wrapped in tinfoil that whoever won the game would get to lift. So to have that picture behind you is pretty sweet. Because I did that as a kid with my dad in the basement. So to actually do it is the coolest thing ever. It's all I ever wanted to do is win the Stanley Cup. That was the only thing in my life that I really cared to accomplish was the Cup. So to be able to do that and win the finals there in our first crack at it was pretty special.
It wasn't easy either, though, because Game 5, you're coming home. It's a perfect situation. We're going to win the Stanley Cup at home. It's going to be awesome.
If I have one regret from that run, it was not winning at home in Game 5. You could rewrite the whole storybook as, of course, we're happy we won the Cup. Doesn't matter. But to rewrite it at home would be pretty sweet in front of our fans. But we got the job done, and more injuries, more drama, right? But we got it done.
You had talked about Bedsy saying something, prior to a game at Game 6 in St. Louis.
Yep.
Tell me about the night before Game 6 in Tampa.
Yep.
Team, what were you guys talking about?
Another team meeting in the meal room, spearheaded by Andrew Cogliano, and had a great pulse for our team for just being on it new, but just kind of freed us up again, just kind of like what Bedsy did in before Game 6 in St. Louis. Cogs did the same thing. Really spoke from the heart, and just kind of we felt loose after that. And that might have been the best game we played of the whole year. Defensive clinic, great chances. They didn't really have a sniff in the third, save for 1 or 2 chances, but that was the best game I think we played in the whole playoffs.
So you're up 2-1. You mentioned the shots. There was 4 shots in the third period by a desperate team. That's their own. This is it for them. They get 4 shots in the third period. Normally, you look at the clock. That had to be a moment where you're watching that, and it's 5 minutes. It's 4.5. It's 4:22. Were you watching the clock?
Yes. I remember being almost nauseous on the bench like the last 3 minutes, just because you're like, come on, we're this close. Like, any goal would just be the biggest dagger ever. But it ticked down, and I remember Kale knocking a puck down at the blue line and went the other way, and he kind of ate it. And then that was Mikko standing on the ice while the play is going on with like 10 seconds left. We're like, get off the ice. We're going to get a penalty. What are you doing, man? And yeah, it ticked down and just time stopped and we did it.
And there's that iconic moment with you and Nate.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember throwing my stuff. I remember turning around and seeing some of the extra guys in the tunnel going nuts and our staff. And then next thing I know, me and Nate are hugging, and I don't know. I've seen it and I grabbed him, but I don't know what happened. And yeah, it was just a surreal moment. That's a great memory that I'll always have.
Another good memory is that right there.
Yep.
What was that handoff like?
Yeah. I mean, Gabe always said I would get the cup first if we won, but we never talked about it really leading up to it at all. So, I mean, I had an idea he was going to give it to me based on how long we've been friends and knew each other and grinded through so many ups and downs, but that was awesome. That was like the best moment ever.
There was another special moment that you took some time for you and skated around. I mean, what?
Well, we were in the locker room, Kiefer, and we had champagne and beer, and it was so awesome because it was just this team in there. That was the best part of winning on the road. It was just us and our support staff and so on. But I'm like, I am so hungry and thirsty. I gotta get out of this room. I'm gonna pass out. So I find like a pizza and a Gatorade, and I just needed like a minute of fresh air. So I was like skating out there with some Gatorade and a little pizza and FaceTiming some buddies. I had like, I needed some fresh air for a second, but that moment alone was cool, just being out there by myself. So after a lot of fun in the locker room with the guys.
Where were the parties? I mean, I know it's a wild, I don't know, month, 2 weeks, whatever it is.
2 weeks. Yeah.
How was that sort of merry-go-round of emotions and just absolute chaos?
It was so fun. It's kind of a blur what we did the first couple days. I had a party at my house for everybody. We did that. That was awesome. And then we bounced around Denver, which was so fun. And I got to give Cherry Cricket a shout out. They're the only bar and restaurant to not charge us a dime for any beers or food. So shout out to the Cherry Cricket. You guys get it. But yeah, we just bounced around at the Cup and people were going crazy and we just had a great time. Just the guys and I don't know, we were just rock stars for a couple of days. The Cup is like Mick Jagger, and we're hanging out with Mick Jagger for a few days, so.
You had a party in California, I think, and your jet broke down or
yeah, so we had
almost missed your own party.
Yeah, we had a big party out in California. We started here and we rented a plane for everybody, and we had like probably 15 people on it, and we had a engine issue, so we thought we weren't going to make it, but we ended up being only 2 hours late. But it was a great night. We got there by 6, and we had till midnight, so it was perfect. And yeah, that was fun. And yeah, I always thought after I won it, what am I going to do the next time? But unless there's a next time as an administrator or maybe Joe's coffee assistant. Then there isn't one, but
you listening, Joe?
It was a fun party, yeah.
All right, so Buffalo, you come back. I remember when you came back, I was in that locker room that morning. I was a sobbing mess to see you. What was that like, your first time back in Colorado?
Yeah, that was the hardest part about the whole, like my whole tenure almost was coming back because I didn't want to leave. Retirement right now, I'm content and happy with it because I'm good with it, but I wasn't good with leaving. And I didn't want to go, but just sometimes things don't work out between player and team, and it happens to so many guys. But I was just so sad to come back because I loved it here and I love the team, I love the fans. I knew how much it meant to people for me to come back and how much it meant to me to come back and see everybody. So that was a tough day. And I just, I wasn't having a great year in Buffalo. I didn't enjoy my time there like I did here. And it was just kind of all the emotions came out there. And that was tough. That was tough. But the reception that I got, I'll never forget.
The tribute video. What was it like watching that?
Yeah, I remember you texting me. He goes, I've seen this video, EJ, but I'm not watching a second of it tonight. I'm going to be looking at you.
I was.
And I got all the emotion out that morning, and just the energy of the crowd lifted me up. So I wasn't really sad. It was just awesome to hear the ovation. I mean, just to have a whole arena just be chanting your name when you don't play for that team anymore was just a surreal moment and experience. And I'll always be grateful for that reception.
You did end up coming back.
Yeah.
How did that all shake down?
So I signed in Philly. Well, rewind. I got traded to Philly at the deadline, March of 2024. I had played with Danny Briere his last year in Colorado, 2014-15, and now he's the GM in Philly. So he traded for me from Buffalo. I get there from Philly. I didn't know a soul on the entire team. Only knew Danny and Torts. And just loved my time there. Re-signed there in the summer. Knew I wasn't going to play a lot. Torts is like, you're going to be the mentor. You're going to be a guy, help the guys, spot in, play when needed. No problem. Happy to do it. Totally good. But I started to play a little more from January, February, March. I was playing a little bit more, and I was playing really, really well for me. So for Kale, it'd be like bad. But I was playing well. And I remember Danny and Keith Jones, who runs the Flyers as well, they said, are you trying to get traded? You're playing pretty good. Like, if you keep playing like this, teams are going to start calling. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm not getting traded. I didn't really want to. I was happy in Philly. And then a couple days before the deadline, Danny Briere pulls me aside and he said, would you go back to Colorado? And I said, it would, honestly, for what you've done for me here, it would be hard for me to do it, but to have a chance to win again, I have to say yes. It's my home. He said, okay, there's a chance it could happen, no promises, but they're calling and we're going to try and get something done. So deadline day comes and we're trading everybody. Like, Kuzmenko goes, Scotty Lawton goes, and I talked to Danny, and he goes, we have no more retention slots. We can't retain any money. Colorado doesn't have the cap space, so it looks unlikely unless, they free up some room. So I say bye to all the guys that get traded. I go home, probably, I don't know what time it is, 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, something like that. And I'm looking on TV, I'm watching TV at home, NHL Network, and I see across the ticker, Casey Middlestead traded to Boston for Charlie Coyle. I was like, Colorado needs to shed cap space. So I get on computer, I'm looking up their salaries, Middlestead's salary. I'm like, wow, they save $750,000 or $500,000 in this trade. What's Colorado's cap space at now? They're at around 1.2 or something. Like, I make $1 million. This could work. So I'm getting excited. And 20 minutes for the deadline, nothing. I shoot Danny B a text. Hey, just following up. Anything happening? He calls me like 20 seconds later. He goes, hey. I go, hey, what's going on? And he says, I saw your text. I don't want to do this, but I have a deal in place to send you to Colorado if you want to go. And I was really emotional because Danny didn't have to do that. I mean, essentially, they're not really getting anything. I was an important piece of their team with their young guys. And I really felt valued and respected there. They needed me in Philly. And so it was hard to say yes to go because they did a lot for me and they didn't want to do it, but they did it for me. So Danny and Keith, they care about people there. And just to hear that Colorado wanted me back and the money worked. I mean, I talked to Cogs right after, and he's like, yeah, I mean, our cap guy plugged it in, and it was like, it fits. We can do it. So that was cool. That was winning the cup, coming back to Denver from Buffalo, and then coming back, being traded back to Denver at the deadline. It's just those moments. Those are etched in my mind forever.
And Twitter and Instagram are lit up. I mean, like I said, you're one of the most popular players ever here. I just remember looking at my feed, and it's just like EJ, Erik Johnson, Condor. Oh my God! It's just like you have to love Avs faithful because they love you so much.
Yeah, and I wasn't always the best player, but I always tried to be genuine and authentic and be who I was, and I think that's why people resonated with me. Maybe, I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't know. I just felt with Colorado fans, Avs fans, that they really respected me and how I played. And I was a no-nonsense guy in the media. I tried to be honest and not give you the, vanilla answers all the time. And I don't know what it was, but I'm grateful that they feel so strongly about me, and I feel strongly about them. And when people stop me on the street, I love it because people are so friendly and nice, and it feels really special to live here and feel so loved.
There's expectations of players in the community. I mean, the hospital visits, the charity brunches, the things the cameras don't see. Those mean as much to you, where you can, put a smile on somebody's face that's, going through a tough time.
Yeah, Kiefer, that's kind of what I've learned over the years, probably the last 5-7 years, is the most important thing and special thing you can do for other people is create memories for them that they will never forget. And maybe I've done that with people. I've tried to. I've just tried to be someone that really makes other people think that I'm thinking about them and wanting to make their life more special. So I don't care what I've done on the ice. All I've tried to do is just make other people have a great moment when they meet me, or when something bad happens to them and you can make them feel better about their day or what they're going through. That's the most important thing.
The team flights, the team meals. I know you're a leader. You're maybe the leader, right? All of the moments, playing cards, late nights, sleeping in, days off, grinding. What are you going to miss the most?
Getting on the plane, and I always sat next to Gabe, and we would always have a glass of wine. Especially after a win, that was the best. In Philly, after a win, we'd all get beers and sit by the hot tub, go in the sauna. That's the fun stuff that no one sees. That's the best part about being an athlete, being in the NHL, and going to dinner on the road. There's nothing better than having a big win and just being with your buddies and just soaking in the, those 20 minutes of great adrenaline after the game. And I'm going to miss getting on the plane late nights. I'm going to miss landing at Signature at DIA and that brutal 40-minute drive home at 2 in the morning. I'm going to miss that for sure, but made a lot of good memories from doing all that. So those are the big things I'm going to miss, is dinner on the road, nice glass of wine on the plane, just hanging with the guys.
What are you not going to miss?
I'm not going to miss the aches and pains. I'm not going to miss the anxiety of always having to be ready. I mean, if we played Thursday, something I eat today, I'm thinking about how am I going to feel Thursday? What is this going to do for me tomorrow? It's going to do for me Monday. It's going to do for me Tuesday. So I'm feeling good Thursday. There's so much that goes into getting ready to play. Playing is the easiest part. It's the hardest part because it's so difficult to play in the NHL. But all the stuff to get ready to play is what wears on you over the years. The stretching, the nutrition, the sleep, just the working out, all the recovery. You do it because you have to do it to stay ready, because you want to feel at your best, to play at your best. But all the stuff it takes to maintain and stay ready is the most taxing that wears on you. Of course, I'll miss it because I love doing it, but I'm not going to miss just always having that in the back of your mind. Like, you have to stay ready for the next game. You got to be ready for practice.
You're on.
You're always on.
Yeah.
Just that's washed over me now, which feels good.
You had options. You had PTOs. Why this decision? Why now? Why not one more year?
Yeah, well, you know what? I wanted to be selective, and I wasn't just going to go anywhere. I would have stayed in Colorado. I would have probably gone back to Philly. Chris was really transparent with me. He goes, we have a lot of stuff going on. If something falls through the cracks and doesn't happen, we'll be able to bring you back. He goes, we want to get younger on the back end, though. We want to get younger on the blue line. Then they signed Brent Burns. I go, Chris, he's 3 years older than me. You don't want to get younger? He didn't say that, but I am going to roast him in the press conference tomorrow and say that. He'll be uncomfortable. But no, we stayed in touch. Chris was so transparent and great about it. And I talked to Danny B. Rick Tocchet wanted to have more of a younger team. So those were the two that I was invested in. And then I had a few PTOs, all in the Eastern Conference. And I was just like, I'm good. You know, I've been fortunate to be blessed playing this game for a long time where I didn't need to keep playing. I can enjoy my life and do what I want. And I'm very grateful for that. So I didn't need to play another year. I wanted to play another year if the right situation popped up, but I was blessed that I didn't need to keep playing if I didn't have the right fit.
There is a period, I'm on the Avs alumni board, and one of our
Not a
pillars, hey, I don't want to talk about it, but it's, there's a period, one of our pillars is that transition from playing to, oh my God, what do I do, right? And you have to lean on people. Have you thought about this next, 6 months where hockey's being played and you're not playing?
Yeah, I've been watching a few preseason games. I have some options I'm sorting through right now. You'll probably see me on the Altitude Network here this year, all you fans out there. Maybe with you, Kiefer, right? You never know. We have some good chemistry, right? Yeah.
Look how good this interview's going.
Yeah. But I'm sorting through some options. There might be something coming up in the next week or so that you'll hear about. And then I have some other stuff going on too, so I can't really openly talk about it right now, but I have options to stay busy, and I'm going to want to definitely stay busy. I'm a busybody. I don't like to be in one place. Being an athlete, you're in and out of each city every night. You're there 2 nights, you're there 1 night, you're in different cities, so I like popping in and out of places. So I think I'm going to have some stuff to stay busy that I'm going to enjoy and take seriously and want to do. But I'm also looking forward to doing things this time of year I've never been able to do. I love the fall. I love this time of year. I can wake up and go wherever I want that day because I don't have to worry about getting ready to play. So while I'll miss it and I'll miss everybody, it's going to be nice to have a little downtime too.
Wine, horses, all of that, or?
Yeah,
because you're dipping in and out of these.
Yeah,
I see you. Yeah. You're on the orchards or wherever you are.
The vines.
Are you a wine? Is that you want to be a?
No. So we belong to this place called the Napa Valley Reserve, and we love wine. And so we actually own our own row of grapes, and there's members that all own a row of grapes. So a couple weeks ago was harvest. We're picking the grapes, we're smashing them, we're sorting them, and you get to make your own bottle of wine. Get your own barrel, make your own label, and it's just for enjoyment. It's not for selling or anything, but I'll get you a bottle.
Please.
Yeah.
What's it called?
We haven't named our label yet.
Okay.
We can change it every year, but maybe something to do with our dogs. Yeah. Or maybe
Real quick.
Condor's blend.
6 dogs.
Yeah.
What is going
Yeah,
on?
so Jackie and I, we don't have any kids, but my first year in the league, or second year in the league, we got 2 golden retrievers, and then we got a Bernese Mountain Dog, and then we got a Black Lab. Those have all passed within the last 12 years, and then we have a lot of rescues. We're involved with Bark, Bernese Aftercare Rescue Coalition, and the Golden Retriever Freedom Rescue, where you have Steve, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've foster failed, kept a lot. We have a great property here for all the dogs to run around. So we love our dogs, and some foster, some stay, but we're definitely dog people. So,
You know, you look just healthy. You look happy. I walked around your place. It's like you said, it's unreal. It's
Thank
gorgeous. How do you feel about your life right now? A lot of guys don't get to retire on their terms. You did.
yeah, and my dad was great about that too, Kiefer, and that's a great point. Is, you know, I told him I had the offers to maybe try out and maybe make a team, and he's like, what are you doing? If you want to keep playing, great, you love the game, but you're healthy. How many times throughout your career could you have said that? And I mean, a lot of aches and pains and big injuries. He's like, why risk that? You've done everything that you wanted to do in hockey. You have your health. That's the biggest blessing for me is, you know, I had a lot of tough knee injuries, you know, one not to Gabe's extent, but a similar cartilage issue that I had to nurse for a long time, and probably 30, 40 injections in it just to keep it going. And I don't have to worry about that now. My body's in great shape. I feel great. Got my full physical last week, and everything's
You're good?
Everything's good.
Everything's
Yeah.
working?
Yeah, I didn't have to cough or anything, so that was good. But yeah.
So it's all said and done. What do you want fans, teammates, parents, relatives? What do you want them to remember about you as an NHL player?
I don't really care about the hockey part. I care that I was a good teammate and that I was a champion, but I care mostly about, you know, my Aunt Gail texted me the other day. She goes, "You've created so many lifelong memories for people that we will never forget." And that's the biggest thing for me is, you know, everything else. How many people did I touch and impact that I tried to make their life better? That's the most important thing to me. So that's what I want to be remembered for. Whose life did you impact and change for the better?